Alshon Jeffery's best route is Carson Wentz's greatest weakness as a thrower. Jeffery isn't a big separation guy. He's a back shoulder guy. You throw him open more so than he's going to get open. If there's one thing that Carson Wentz can learn from Nick Foles, it is this: how to throw to Alshon Jeffery. This has been a problem since Alshon has joined the Eagles. Now, let me just say that I feel like Carson Wentz has gotten incrementally better. I feel like strides have been made in the way that he throws the back shoulder ball. He throws a flat ball. He doesn't loft it high enough consistently for Alshon Jeffery to go up and get it. To turn 50-50 balls into 80-20 balls, Carson Wentz has not mastered it yet. And, maybe over time he will, but right now he doesn't have it down. And that could be part of the reason for, if this anonymous source is Alshon Jeffery, the over-reliance of Zach Ertz. It's not that there was an over-reliance of Zach Ertz. It was just the excuse used to voice his frustrations. So I've got some more numbers here. And I know the targets per game between Wentz and Nick Foles really wasn't a lot. But I did some further digging, and I did find some interesting stuff. So, first 4 games of the season, Alshon Jeffery lit it up. He was unbelievable. So those first 4 games, 25 receptions, 306 yards, 12.24 yards per catch. He had 4 touchdowns. So this was the beginning of the year when Wentz was fully healthy. And obviously you had a fully healthy Alshon Jeffery coming back from his injury from last year. Remember, Alshon didn't make his debut until week 4 at Tennessee. So those first 4 games, he was getting targeted 9.75 targets per contest. 9.75. That's a pretty high number considering the fact that the number was, 7 for Carson Wentz and Nick Foles in terms of the targets per game. So the first 4 games, as you can see, a lot of success. Alshon Jeffery was a beast. Next 6 games. Okay, so from week 8 until the second Dallas game, Alshon Jeffery didn't do much, and he wasn't targeted much. Only 5.83 times per game. He's only averaging 9.83 yards per catch. 9.83 yards per catch for a back shoulder guy, that means he's not getting back shoulder balls. Now, I'm going to look into this further. I'm going to search some things and study some things and look to see what kind of targets he was getting, what kind of routes he was running. But 24 receptions, 236 yards, and a touchdown. That's it in 6 games. But Nick Foles enters the picture. Week 14 against the Rams? Week 15 against the Rams? So the last 5 games, and that includes the playoffs, 27 receptions, 456 yards, and a touchdown. 18.81 yards per catch for Jeffery when he's with Foles. So that's about almost twice as much as that 6-game stretch with Wentz as opposed to Foles. Now, let's remember, though, that 6-game stretch, at some point, Wentz was hurt. He got hurt. He had the back injury. So there's a vast difference between the first 4 games and how Alshon's targeted as opposed to the next 6. We don't know exactly when Wentz got hurt, but we know it was after the bye. And this 6-game stretch started against Jacksonville. Then they went to the bye, and then Carson Wentz got hurt sometime after that. And as you can see, the numbers for Alshon Jeffery are lower. So here's the question I have. Were his numbers lower because Carson Wentz was hurt? Or are Alshon and Carson still working out kinks? Because if you remember, last year, Alshon Jeffery kind of got off to a slow start. He didn't really do much during the regular season. Then Nick Foles came in, played quarterback, and all of a sudden Alshon Jeffery's numbers went up. And we attributed the slow season and the poor season last year to Jeffrey's injury. Well, what if there's a little bit more to it? What if Jeffrey and Wentz really got to get this thing going and, Wentz has to learn how to throw the ball to him a little bit better? I mean, again, it's like his best route is Carson Wentz's biggest weakness as a thrower, I believe. The back shoulder ball. He throws it too flat. He needs to get better at it, and I'm hoping that this is something that you, in the off-season training camp, you go and you get this figured out. But as you can see, there's a difference between the way that Nick Foles targets Alshon Jeffery and the way that Carson Wentz targets Alshon Jeffery. So if I had to guess, I'm going to guess that when they were targeting Alshon with Wentz, he was probably running more of the quick screens, the quick slants, maybe the deep in routes. With Foles, as you can see, it was deeper stuff, just lofting the ball up for Alshon to go get. The fade routes. So, if there was a receiver that might have been a little frustrated, okay, it might have been Alshon Jeffery. Because if you really dig into the numbers and really look at it, we're talking about 456 yards receiving as opposed to 569 in 10 games. So 456 yards in 5 games as opposed to 569 in 10. That's the difference between Nick Foles and Carson Wentz and Alshon Jeffery's numbers. So, again, this whole Joseph Santoliquito story that's been overblown. It seems like, here's the way to read the article. The way to look at it now, okay? You basically just take the quotes and don't read anything else. Don't read what the author has to say because his opinion is mixed in there. It's an investigative piece. It's not an opinion piece. It's an investigative piece is supposed to be something for the people to decide, for the people to draw a conclusion from, right? So you get arguments from both sides of the story, and then then the reader determines whether or not, whose side of the story he wants to believe. Well, an opinion piece, you obviously, write about what you think is right. And you're going to interject your opinion. That's okay. But you don't interject your opinion and your thoughts into an investigative piece, a journalistic piece like this. It was just going about the wrong way. And, there's that. So those are – oh, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned 7.2 targets per game for Jeffrey in the last 5 games. So to go over those again, 9.75 targets in the first 4 games. When Jeffrey came out of the gate, he was clicking and Wentz was healthy. Then it was the next 6 games. It was 5.83 targets per game. And, that's when Wentz was hurt. Some point he got hurt, whenever that was. And then 7.2 targets per game with Nick Foles at quarterback. So there it is. My video for today. Adrian Fedkiw out. Peace.